everyone, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. So as you remember, in the previous video we started drawing a small one-bedroom apartment. This was the actual plan. I told you can find any picture with dimensions from Google Pictures, Pinterest, or whatever site you have. The site doesn't really matter. All it matters is that choose something that is simple enough that you can finish it in one session, or at least in one day. So we get up to this part of the plan. We only use move, trim, fillet, and copy. Right now we want to continue and finish this plan. As you can see, there is a door missing here, which first of all I'm gonna finish that part. This is a small plan, but it's and you can easily draw another door for this part. But as you know, for bigger plans and massive uh, hotels or maybe complex, you cannot draw all the doors. We have 3 doors here, and there we have almost 100, 200. So all I'm gonna do is rotate a door for here. So I'm just gonna copy one of these doors. Let's copy this one. I'm gonna copy one of these doors. Remember, you should copy everything that you want. And I'm gonna choose a base point for it, bring it here, and as you can see, we want to rotate this about 90 degrees. So the rotate starts with RO. I'm just gonna type RO and then space. I'm gonna select whatever I want. Again, choose a base point, and as you can see here, when I move my mouse, it starts to move in a circle, which is very hard because maybe you cannot get it right and it won't be a 90-degree angle. So all you're gonna do is to click on rotate and just keep your ortho on. You're gonna select your door, choose a base point, and right now you see when I move my mouse, it only moves in 90-degree angles. So I'm gonna move this door to the place I want. So the command was M space, select whatever you need, choose a base point, and come here. As you can see, the door is a little bit big for the plan. So I'm gonna make it smaller. When you want to scale something, make it smaller or bigger, we are actually going to use the command scale. So scale starts with SC, and I'm gonna type SC. As you can see, I'm gonna select whatever I need. Again, like every other command, choose a base point, and right now you can see by moving my mouse, I can make this bigger or smaller. This is a good enough method for maybe when you're drawing something not very important, or it's a sketch, or maybe it's a plan just to make sure that you got everything right. But in architecture plan, you need this to actually be correct. So all I'm gonna do is, as you can see here, I have a reference. Reference means I'm gonna scale this door, and I have another reference for it. So right now my reference is from this point to this point, and my door should be between these 2 points. So I'm gonna click on R. It asks you again to choose your base point or first point. You're gonna choose here, then your second point, the end of your object, and then bring it to where you want it to be. As you can see, my door is actually the size I want it to be. So let's try this here, as scale is a very important thing for us. We just want to practice it a little bit more. So as you can see, I have a rectangle here and I want to scale it. Sometimes I just want to make it bigger, so I'm just gonna command scale space, select whatever I want, choose a base point, and maybe make it bigger or smaller. but sometimes I need it to be an actual real size. So right now I know that I don't know how big is this, but I know that I want it to be about the line about 5 meters. So I'm just gonna draw a 5 meter line. As you can see, the line is in the middle of this and it didn't come to the end. So all I'm gonna do is click on a scale, select the rectangle, first point. Then as you can see, if you forget to click on R, it's gonna start being becoming bigger or smaller by itself. So you're just gonna click on R, it goes back to the place it was. Choose the first point and then choose the end of your object and bring it to the line you drew. Now as you can see, this line is about 5 meters. It's not about 5 meters, it's 5 meters. So this was one other method, and the other method is pretty easy. So as you can see, sometimes you know how big is this line. I know that this is 5 meters and I just want it to be maybe half this size or even twice as big or maybe third time as big. So I'm just gonna scale, again space, I'm gonna choose my rectangle, choose a base point. Remember, the base point is important because from that point it starts getting bigger or smaller. So I want this to be half of the other rectangle, so I'm just gonna type 0.5, and as you can see, it's gonna be half of it. Or maybe I want it to be twice as big, so all I'm gonna do is scale, click on whatever I want and make it twice as big. As you can see, I'm just clicking 2 and then space. That's all you need to know about scaling. So let's delete these rectangles and go back to our own lesson. So right now we have our door, we have our little doors, and in the picture, as you can see, we have some oxes. Which I'm gonna skip for this session because I want to teach you octave and dimension in another session. So we're gonna go and hatch the walls. As you can see, the walls are black. We want to make the same effort here. So all you're gonna do is choose your layer. I want it to be wall, and then click on hatch, edge and space. As you can see, you have a huge list of hatches, different textures, maybe even different colors, form of colors, and whatever you need in here. But right now, I don't need this, or maybe I don't need to change it like this. It's not a hive, but as you can see, I'm just going on with it. So when you hatch something, you can easily change it. I hatched it with this, I don't like it, I'm gonna click on something else. This one, or maybe this one. As you can see, it's blue and yellow. So I'm gonna click on this one, or maybe even this one. It just doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna go back to solid, and as you can see, this is what I have. For this class, for this session, this is enough to know, but I really want to go a little bit further and show you a little bit more about hatching stuff. So as you can see right here, I have a rectangle and I want to hatch inside it. So I'm just going to click on edge and space. As you can see, I have solid, then angle, and whatever name you have here. But sometimes the scale, this is the perfect actual example. The scale of this is not very useful for me. As you can see, this is not a hatch. No one will understand that this is a hatch. This is just a small line between my rectangle. So as you can see up here, we have two options which is very useful. One of them is angle, which you can choose your angle. 45 degree disappear because it's too big, or maybe 90 degree, but let me just put it on 0 And the other one here is like scale. When this hatch is too big for your rectangle, you're gonna scale it. For example, right now it's 1. Because it's too big, I'm gonna make it smaller. For example, 0.1. So right now I can actually see my hatch, and the angles are now more understandable. A 45 degree, maybe I need 136, maybe I need 200. It doesn't matter, it's what you need. Right now I'm gonna put it on 0, and you can make this even smaller, 0.1, and it can go smaller or even bigger. If I put number 5 here without any dots and zeros, the hatch is completely out of my sight. So I'm just gonna go with 1 right now because I'm not using this hatch. And as you can see, okay, for this one, this is too big. You have to maybe make it 10 to just see it. Yeah, like that. But right now I'm gonna just choose a normal hatch with number 1. Yeah, like that. And I'm gonna show you something. When you're done with hatching something, just click space and it will be done. Sometimes in your plans you don't have a rectangle. You have an open line, which you can't easily see. This is what happens when you have an open line. Let me make this a little bit harder so you can get the idea. So as you can see, this place is open. Okay, this is too obvious. Like, let me make it even less obvious for you. So this is how it's gonna go. Okay, so when I just zoom out, you cannot see that this line is opened up. But when you click on hatch space and you want to hatch this, sometimes it doesn't hatch because of that open space. Let me show it to you like this. How about we delete this one and delete this hatch? Okay, so let's hatch it one more time. As you can see, it shows you that where it's open. What happened in the last hatch was very lucky. Actually, in the few years that I've taught AutoCAD and worked with it, it never happened. But right now, as you can see, when I made it a little bit bigger, it doesn't do the command. It says that it's not a closed boundary and please close it, and it actually shows you where it's open so you can close this. So I'm gonna just close this with a line and then hatch it again. So hatch and hatch, that's it. So this is about our hatches. One other small tiny thing and we'll be done with rotating, scaling and hatching, is that when you hatch a couple of things together, let me put them in line so you can understand. When you hatch a couple of things together, they actually stick together. So let me move this so you can easily understand. If I want to move only one part, the whole thing will be moved because you hatch them at the same time. If you don't want this to happen, you can do two things. One of them is actually at the beginning of your work. So you just click on hatch and hatch this, click space. Again hatch, click this space. Again hatch, click this space. And as you can see, if I select this, I will be only selecting these. But this is not very useful since it takes a long time when you have big, huge plans. So all I'm gonna do, let me delete this because we won't be needing it. So I'm gonna hatch it one more time, this time all together. And great. And as you can see, let me show you one more time. If I move it, they will be all together. So all I'm gonna do is click on hatch edit. Hatch edit is actually called he. So always remember that. He. When you click on he and click enter or space, you can choose the hatch you want to edit. For example, right now I want to edit this group of hatchet. And as you can see, you can change the format, which I really don't want to do right now. I'm gonna stick with solid. And you can add some parts, remove some parts, but what is the most important thing in here, in my opinion, is separate hatches. You're gonna click on this and take away this one's tick, and when you okay this, now your hatches are separated, and it's very useful because in a very short time you can actually hatch a huge plant and then just click on hatch edit and separate them all. And it's better to be separated because sometimes in your huge buildings you hatch three things together and then you cannot find which one you needed. That's it for today. This is the end of this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and wait for other videos. I will see you soon.